Hello, sellers. We're taking dramatic steps at eBay to drive trust on the platform. My name is David Newman, and I lead the trust organization. Today, I'm going to talk about three things: why trust is so important, our focus areas for trust and the progress we've made this year, and what you can expect going forward. eBay's founder, Pierre Omidyar, said, "You have to build trust before you begin a transaction." This is as true today as it was when Pierre said it over 20 years ago. I want to start off today with a story of a recent visit to our eBay offices in Salt Lake City to meet with sellers, part of Seller Week, which is one of my favorite events. A seller heard that I worked in trust and was kind enough to approach me and share feedback. She said, "I'm so happy about the work to require payment on best offers, and I'm seeing far fewer unpaid items in my business. However, I'm now seeing an uptick in requests to cancel after I get paid for a best offer. I don't think we should allow buyers to request to cancel an order after an accepted best offer," she said. I really wanted to hear more about this perspective, so we sat down and I asked the seller if she currently accepts returns, and she told me that yes, she does. She's a successful apparel seller, running her business primarily on eBay, and offers free 30-day returns on all of her items. So I asked her if she'd rather get the cancellation request prior to shipping, or if we were to disallow cancellations on best offer, would she rather ship out the item and have the buyer send the item back? She thought for a moment and said, "I guess I do want to allow for cancellations, but I don't want that to become a workaround for best offer." She was happy to hear that we've been working with sellers across the globe and across all of our categories on this question, and her sentiments were in line with what we're consistently hearing. We continued to talk through the types of best offers or auctions where maybe it could make sense to not allow cancellations, and then we brainstormed on some other nuanced use cases. I committed to her that we would be enhancing policies to identify cancellation abuse so that this behavior doesn't become a workaround to our new approach with best offer. I share the story because it highlights how every listing type and every category has unique complexity. And I want you to know that this complexity is why it has taken longer than we had originally anticipated to show the progress that we're so proud to talk about today on our mission to eliminate unpaid items on eBay. Designing for trust when we make a big change like requiring payment up front with best offers is so much more than the look and feel of the payment page. It is the whole experience. Every screen before and after an offer is made, every communication during the process, and every interaction after the offer is accepted. So back to this quote from Pierre. "eBay has always relied on trust. It is because of this trust that our company can even exist. It goes all the way back to the first years of eBay when sellers waited for checks from buyers to arrive in the mail. A lot has changed since then, and we heard you all that it was time for eBay sellers to trust that they would get paid on every transaction. And that's just one part of the trust journey we're on. At eBay, we create pathways to connect millions of sellers and buyers in more than 190 markets around the world. Trust is what makes all of that possible. eBay is the trust handshake between our buyers and sellers. As a buyer, I trust eBay to ensure I get what I ordered, and eBay protects me if things go wrong. And shopping on eBay is safe and secure, and I can always find relevant, authentic items at great prices. For sellers, I know that the list you see here isn't comprehensive of every eBay experience that builds or busts trust with you. That said, we know that these are some of the biggest pain points, and they also align with where we are currently focusing our trust efforts. As a seller, I have to trust that eBay will not disrupt my business. And when I sell something, I get paid. And that eBay protects me from bad actors and the latest scams. And that eBay has my back and treats me fairly and transparently when issues arise. We know we have work to do in all of these areas. I'm excited to share specific progress on a few of these later in the presentation. Every one of eBay's strategic priorities has trust as a component. Let's look at three examples. For fashion, the critical components of trust are trust that the marketplace works well at all price points, from basics through high fashion, and authenticity, and also trust in condition. In parts and accessories, buyers need to trust that parts will fit, and that the site is safe, and that items are priced competitively and ship on time for that critical automotive mission. And there are consistent needs that apply to all our buyers and sellers across all our global markets. It needs to be easy to purchase, and buyers and sellers want to be sure that communications are safe and secure in a vibrant online community. So trust priorities like these come to life in investments like our international shipping program, which offers the most comprehensive set of returns protections ever for our global community. Over 2,300 years ago, the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle said, "Trust is a series of promises kept." And I think that's as good a definition as you're likely to find. There's a lot of energy going into making every touch point of trust a better process. We know that we are rewarded when we do it well, and we love hearing from happy buyers and sellers who are highlighting the trusted experiences they're having on eBay. You may have heard the saying, trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. We're on a mission to be the most trusted platform for your business, and that's why we sincerely appreciate knowing when we miss the mark, as painful as that may be. It takes a lot to build trust with our buyers and sellers, but as online guides like these reveal, it only takes one negative experience to break trust. Ultimately, eBay sellers and buyers need to trust the platform and each other. Anytime a customer has to ask if they can trust another buyer or seller, it reminds us of the work we still have to do. And that's why there's so much energy going into our trust initiative to make every process better. I find it helpful to share how we are organized at eBay to continuously enhance trust. The Trust Initiative is a portfolio of high-impact company priorities. Each year, we focus on a set of projects that fix the biggest trust busters and lean into the biggest trust builders. This year, the focus has been on feedback, the eBay money-back guarantee, unpaid items, and abusive buyers. Next, we have our trust organization. Most of the time, transactions on eBay go perfectly, meaning that the buyer purchases the product they need and the seller delivers a perfect order, as described, shipped out on time, and delivered on time. Yet, when things don't go smoothly, and to incentivize great behavior on the platform, the trust organization manages policies and operations for areas such as seller standards and performance, refunds, payment disputes, and preventing abusive buyers. Lastly, across the enterprise, every single person at eBay understands the role they play in driving trust. Whether it is our product and engineering teams delivering great site experiences, our customer support teams and frontline agents that handle all of our contacts, our payments organization that ensures frictionless and safe payments, and our security and privacy teams that deliver a safe experience. Every team at eBay is committed to building trust in everything that they do. Across both the Trust Organization and the Trust Initiative, our primary North Star is to reduce bad buyer experiences and bad seller experiences globally, and continuously improve the scores we get from buyers and sellers pertaining to their perception of eBay as a trusted place to shop and sell. I'm pleased to report we're on track to hit all of these metrics, including a 10% reduction in our bad buyer experience rate, a 30% reduction in our bad seller experience rate, and a 10% increase in the scores buyers and sellers give us as a trusted place to shop and a trusted place to sell. If you're wondering how we measure bad seller experiences, we look at every transaction and have a set of outcomes that we want to avoid you ever having to deal with. Things like unpaid items, late payments, cancellations, bid retractions, claims, and disputes, just to name a few. If any single one of these frustrating events takes place, we capture the transaction as having had a bad seller experience. We know that when we prevent you from having to deal with bad seller experiences, our trusted place to sell measurement goes up, and that's going to continue to contribute to your success on eBay. Now let's look at what we've accomplished this year. I mentioned the Trust Initiative earlier. Each year, we prioritize programs that address the biggest trust detractors, amplify existing trust signals, and move our trust KPIs towards our goals. Now I want to take two of our biggest 2023 work streams under the Trust Initiative and do a deep dive. Let's start with unpaid items. Related to my story I shared earlier, unpaid items, also known as UPIs, result in bad seller experiences and harm your trust in the platform. Our goal, which you've heard us talk about in the past, is the elimination of unpaid items on eBay. Simply put, when you sell something, you will get paid. Year to date, we've reduced unpaid items by 40%, and we aim to nearly double that by the end of the year. In terms of where we are now, you may remember that as recently as the start of the year, for fixed price purchases above $1,500, buyers did not have to pay immediately. We've significantly increased that amount so that when you sell a fixed priced item, even at price points well above $1,500, we require immediate payment and checkout. With Best Offer, we are extremely excited to announce that 100% of buyers in the US are now required to have payment on file when making a Best Offer. There are still a few scenarios we are working on that will roll out soon, such as automatically charging the buyer when they accept a seller-initiated offer. The same Best Offer experience is currently being tested in the UK, Germany, and Australia. Our commitment to eliminate unpaid items is global, and our approach is to first nail the buyer and seller experience in one market, and then to quickly expand the same great end-to-end experience globally. With Best Offer, the feedback from sellers has been incredibly positive, and we're glad you are seeing our commitment come to life. That said, we're still listening and acting on your feedback on how to make the experience even better. And we have begun our work on auctions. Jamie committed we would solve this problem, and admittedly, it has taken longer than we intended. The reality is that unwinding 28 years of buyer behavior in a way that is net positive to your business requires a great deal of testing, and we'll remain deliberate and thoughtful in our approach. Let's take a closer look at both the new buyer and seller experience for Best Offers. Here you can see what has changed when a buyer submits a Best Offer. Historically, buyers only needed to provide an offer amount, no payment method required. And after you accepted the offer, the buyer would be requested to come back to eBay to pay. That is no longer the case. Now buyers need to provide a verified payment method and shipping address to submit an offer. Next, let's look at what's different for you as a seller receiving the offer. When you are reviewing the offer, you'll see the call out that eBay will automatically charge the buyer once you accept the offer. And after you accept the offer, the buyer does not have to come back to eBay to submit payment, which is great, as we know a portion of unpaid items and late payments stemmed from buyers, especially new buyers, not realizing that they need to come back to make their payment. So what we have now is less effort for our buyers and faster payments for you. Next, let's look at the work eBay is doing to protect sellers from bad actors and the latest scams and threats. Together, we've significantly reduced scams on eBay. While these changes help all sellers, they are designed to especially help new sellers get started on eBay, and our goal is to put a total stop to this abuse by the end of the year. By continuously enhancing our capabilities to identify and stop bad actors, every seller benefits. And we have given you some new tools to better report when you encounter inappropriate messages. You can now flag these messages and we'll take action. Let's take a look. With this first set of mobile screenshots, imagine that you are the seller and you've received this message from a buyer who is trying to lure you into a risky transaction off eBay. Now, you can mark this message as scam, and once flagged, our systems and teams immediately engage. We appreciate your early warnings in the rare cases where a scam message gets around our preventative measures, and we aim to make it as easy as possible for you to flag it. In the second set of mobile screenshots, the buyer is now trying to confuse the seller into sharing personal information. We've now added safety tips into messages that provide contextual guidance to sellers. Our continued progress in this area of seller protections gets better every time that you report abuse. This in turn contributes to the safety of the whole community. As sellers, you can trust that eBay will never stop working to protect you from bad actors and the latest scams and threats. So what's next? We're staying focused on our trust priorities. We talked about where we are on our journey towards the elimination of unpaid items in all categories and markets. We also covered the investments we have made in detecting, reporting, and eliminating buyer abuse and messaging. But that's not all. Feedback is a powerful signal for building trust with buyers. This year, we've taken steps to expand the coverage, quality, and discoverability of feedback to ensure that the great service you are providing to your buyers with every transaction is helping you grow your business. Our Vero team has rolled out changes that allow you to keep selling in situations while we wait on you to provide additional information. And that applies to other policies where we're making sure that it is clear and easy for you to answer questions and provide information without any disruption to your business. We're also hard at work at simplifying and modernizing our seller standards and the eBay Money Back Guarantee. We look forward to sharing more early next year. I'm very grateful for having had this opportunity to share our trust priorities. We covered why trust is so important to our collective success and strategy. And in covering our focus areas, I hope you are as excited as I am about the progress towards delivering on all of our trust commitments. And going forward, know that this commitment will not waver. We are committed to earning your trust through our actions and not words. We hope that with the progress we have made in the first half of this year, you will trust me when I tell you there is much more to come. Our aim is to allow you to focus on running your business and selling more. eBay only succeeds when you, our sellers, succeed. As always, we love your feedback, which you can drop into the Q&A or chat. I do have one ask. Please remember that just as eBay is working to build our trust with all of you, we're asking for your steadfast focus with your buyers. Remember, your buyers are trusting you to maintain accurate listings, deliver on time, and provide great communication. And I encourage you all to maintain or pursue top-rated status. We will keep you updated on our continued progress against each of the trust priorities we spoke about today. And I look forward to discussing with many of you in person at upcoming seller meetups. Thank you for your time and for your trust.